Ladies and gentlemen, I am not new to this auditorium. I've had the opportunity to come here several times. To begin with, respectable General Sharat Chand, Vice Chief of the Army, Mr. J.D. Patil, amongst his various designations printed on this, I must also inform you that he is the Vice President of the Society of Indian Defence Manufacturers. Just like the ADB was a little baby 1 year back, SIDM is a still smaller baby as we speak today. So he is in the leadership, he is in the drive actually for this entire initiative. GOCNC Southern Command recently retired General Harris. It's really a wonder, sir, that you have come over here to attend this event. Mr. V.S. Narona, Vice President, Defence Tata Motors Limited, and a potential member of the SIDM. General Chanan, ADG of the ADB, Mr. Sundaram Kodisia, and I'll just tell you our relationship in a short while. Mr. Natarajan from the Chamber of Commerce here, Mr. Vivek Pandit from FICCI, Delhi, Mrs. Anupama Eri, all distinguished ladies and gentlemen. What a delight to be here to see literally a dream getting fulfilled. And I must compliment actually the Army Design Bureau, Amrita, FICCI, Defence Aviation Post for putting this all together. I'm particularly thankful to the Vice Chief for having traveled down here because it's so important, his presence here. Probably it's the others who feel it more than he himself, the modest person that he is. It's so nice that you could take out time and travel all the way here to make your inspiring presence on this morning. We had started this, long journey of trying to define problems. Some of the slides General Charan has shown to you. The product that came out at that point in terms of the two compendiums of problem statements, volume 1 and 2, actually was the outcome of almost a year plus of traveling out, which included 19 interactions in different parts of the country with the industry representatives, 13 interactions where it was army, industry, and the academia. By the time we did the fourth interaction, I quite recall, directly with the industry on a bilateral format, we came to realize that, okay, this might give us some, some things for the immediate. But in order that you look at it long term, in order to make it sustaining, as Mr. Narona also highlighted, we have to go to the academia, because unless and until we challenge the academia, we won't find sustaining solutions. So that's why we changed the format. Eventually, there were 32 interactions in different parts of the country, over and above those visits to the forward areas, layout of equipment, etc., which General Chanan had shown through those slides. So really, the compendium of problem statements was one part of the journey. And allow me to share an anecdote, typically how our Indian mind worked, because Indian Army had kept itself, literally like Mr. Patil brought out, it had kept itself enclosed for so long. In one of our interactions, I think it was the fourth or fifth one in Ahmedabad, one industrialist, after listening to our requirements, asked a question that, look, General, you have told us everything. Isn't all this secret? So I looked at that industry person with a lot of respect and I said, sir, if I don't share it with you today, 10 years down the line, I have to share it with a foreigner and import it. So I would much rather trust my Indian industrialist than a foreigner 10 year hence. So, I mean, imagine this is the kind of doubt that as an organization we had created in the minds of our own industrialists, that we should not be sharing with you because it is secret, and we are ready to share with the foreigner. Anyway, so I'm so happy that that journey has now transitioned into this new journey of trying to find, or shall we say, collate solutions to the problems. General Chanan has highlighted how many 1300 plus and about 70 plus solutions he already has with him. We had the first interaction, as I told you, we launched this second journey on 25th October from Delhi. Delhi, it's okay, it is the capital of the country, you have to do something. But honestly, our solutions reside in places like Coimbatore, a district which is proud to have 74 engineering colleges. When I read it on the net first time, straight away, you can ask General Chanan, that time was the brigadier working very closely with him. I said, look, forget about other places, let's go beelining for Coimbatore. We came to Coimbatore, we had our first interaction, I remember late in the evening, in one of the hotels somewhere. That wasn't good enough. Sir, that is when Codicea came in. Mr. Ramamurthy and Ramesh Babu. I remember their names. They got in touch with me that, General, in the month of August, during the Independence Day, we are planning to do some exhibition. Will you join us by displaying your equipment? And on that day, we decided to display army equipment here, which we had to move from different places over here. As you know, we just have one artillery regiment. Would you believe what happened post that? Of course, it was a great success. Almost everybody, young students from different engineering colleges were there to see the equipment and all. But I think the greatest wonder happened that day to the army. Because post that, General Prasad got in touch with me that there is a person called Dr. Shantanu Bhaumik who has got a solution for your bulletproof jacket. We have one brigadier now. He was then also a part of the ADB, but in a different format. He is a huge person, you know, very big build. When he was speaking to the gathering there, he said, the bulletproof jacket that I wear weighs 14 kilos. A person of my size also, you know, kind of sinks with that heavy weight. So I think that is what touched Dr. Shantanu Bhaumik. He got across to General Prasad, and then they came up with this, you know, solution, which finally is coming up as a technology development fund project. I think at the fastest possible, given the government ways we work, and which is jointly with Mr. J.D. Patil, because when that solution came, I asked him, would you be comfortable with somebody close by? He says, yes, we would be comfortable with somebody close by, General Prasad, and because of my confidence in Mr. Patil, the way he has actually given his heart, mind, soul, everything to get L&T Defense to where it is today. So I said, probably this is the most trustworthy arrangement that can actually give shape to one of our first findings. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, we had come here incidentally on 23rd January to get a sense of the solutions that were coming out. JD mentioned about S&T standing for spirituality and technology. From that day onwards, it entered my mind, you know. When you come to institutions like this, it is not science and technology at work, it is spirituality and technology at work. And, you know, we came here on 23rd January this year. What is the significance of 23rd January? You all know. It is the birthday of Netaji, you know, Subhash Chandra Bose, whose great follower is Dr. Shantanu Bhaumik. And may I tell you, today is his 50th birthday. So kindly join me in wishing him. I don't know how it all happens. Maybe somewhere it is Amma, you know. These things don't happen by chance. So there we are on his birthday to collect it. And I can tell you with some assurance that I didn't know about it till about a week back that today is his birthday. So moving on from there, as we move into this journey of statements, I think the most important thing, General Chanan has highlighted how he's getting solutions. The most important thing is to actualize them into products. And I must tell you that, and I won't mince words here, this is what worries me. If you see, in the last 3 years, for example, the DRDO has had some wonderful success stories. But these success stories have not entered the procurement cycle. That is what seriously worries me. If these solutions are coming, they have to enter the procurement cycle. I mean, this business of Army Technology Board, Technology Development Fund, Make2, that is where our entire focus has to be, that how soon are we going to take it and put it into the procurement. Otherwise, the same solution, the same success story will become an irritant because technology would have moved ahead. So all the effort that has gone into coming up with this, unless and until we actualize it by putting it into the procurement cycle and hastening the procurement cycle, somewhere we would have missed all this effort and all the celebration in a sense that we are doing. All of you would recall, you know, that brilliant speech of the Prime Minister on 15th August 2014, when from the ramparts of the Red Fort he had said that in India we have steel, we have diamond, we have discipline, we have resolve. Come make in India. He listed a whole range of products. And one of them, he said, submarine se leke satellite tak. Effectively, he was talking about the huge opportunity in defense and aerospace. After that, we had a series of, you know, wonderful policy directions that came out. If I were to name some, IDDM. You know, Make2 people have spoken about. Make2 was a new thing. Enhanced performance parameters. Essential parameter B. FTP, that is the fast track procedure, was liberalized. Strategic partners, 6 of them. What I would urge, let us look back and see how many of these forward-looking policy initiatives have we implemented in the last 2 years. That is why I say it worries me. When there is a policy provision existing in black and white, if we are reluctant to use it, how will we bring it? For example, enhanced performance parameters was brought in as a very smart way by which we could have converged L1, that is the cheapest, which is a must because of general financial rules, with the T1, that is best in technology. But it is amazing that neither the services nor the industry have taken advantage of this provision and to push a higher technology product. So this is something which I think we ought to be focusing on. The second point which I spoke about, the Make 2, for example. Make 2, as we know, got introduced so that the potential of the Indian industry could be, sort of harnessed to come up with solutions, to come up with some simpler systems, come up with simpler products, come up with import substitution, where it does not involve very high expenditure, where it does not involve, too much of infrastructure, cost outlay, and so on. Finally, I am so happy to tell you, on 28th October, when as a group of industry people nowadays, I won't say changed, but I have shifted this side. When we met the Honorable Raksha Mantri, she picked it up immediately, and this is an important thing which is about to happen, that is simplification of the Make 2. It does not have to go through the grind of Make 1. So what I would urge, both the user, i.e. the services, and the industry, to now kindly push for Make 2. Because if the push for Make 2 is there, because what the industry is concerned about is orders. Moment you have entered the Make 2, at least orders are assured. If the orders are assured, I don't think there is any other incentive that you should be looking for in order to get it. Because the interesting thing about Make 2, which is entirely industry funded, is just in case if there are no orders, the amount gets refunded to you. So really speaking, it's a fantastic provision which the Honorable RM has said that she is going to give it shape. So what I would urge is do kindly make use of this. Codicia is sitting over here. In fact, Codicia was mentioned in our meeting with the RM on 28th October. And the point that she highlighted is, organizations like Codicia, and there are similar others in different parts of the country, who are undertaking some sort of skilling specifically for industries. So what she had said is, why don't we see the opportunity of tapping organizations like Codicia to do specific defense industrial skilling. So obviously we are not talking about, MTech, IITs and so on. We are talking about skilling people for the shop floor. If there are 2,500 industries coming together, MSMEs coming together in Codicia, I think there is tremendous opportunity here. The second point which I wish to highlight, on 17th November, Professor Parmeshwaran was there in Chennai when we had a meeting with the Raksha Mantri. That is the time when she said, after listening to a lot of people, that Society of Indian Defence Manufacturers, SIDM, should come up with some categoric recommendations on how it could be made easier for the MSME. So I am just informing you that we have made a small committee of people who have expertise in this field to come up with a new SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, for the MSMEs to be able to work with the DPSUs and the ordnance factories. And it is axiomatic that once such an SOP comes into play, even the private industry would be guided by that. So this is an initiative which is on, and on Monday, in fact, we have another meeting to pursue this one forward. So this is another one which the minister has been actually pushing for. The third point, Professor Parmeshwaran, again I am quoting him here, was present at that meeting when I got a chance to, in the public gathering, of course, we had a little in-house closed door before that. So I mentioned to her, ma'am, there is some phenomenal work which is happening in some of our engineering institutions here, and I was very proud to mention Amrita amongst others. So it is not as if their effort is going, is not getting cognizance, not getting taken cognizance of, but it needs much more institutional support than what is there today. So the Honorable Minister said that kindly compile a report, take 2 months' time, kindly compile a report in which you please put down all such research work which is happening, particularly at the PhD level, which can be commercialized by the defense industry for the three services. So I'm happy to inform you we are in the process of compiling that report. In fact, Amrita has already given us their inputs. We have taken 7, I think, 7 projects of Amrita and made it as a part of that report. So that is another exercise which is going on. Time is still open for that till I think 2nd of January, if I'm not mistaken. So if you wish to get one of your reports, it's a very simple format. Professor Shantanu Bhoke, Dr. Bhaumik can give it to you. I can send it to you directly. It's not an issue. You send it to us. We will include it in that. So let us see, somewhere it might see the light of the day. The next point which I wish to, highlight in this gathering here, because not often do you have people so well, the user and the industry together. In our country, unfortunately, we don't have anything like defense industrial planning. And this I'm saying out of pure experience of both sides. As a user, I have certain requirements in terms of numbers. I have certain requirements in terms of technology. In the middle are the approving authorities, that is the ministry. They want competition, and they would definitely want fair play. Then we have the industry, which has certain technological capabilities. And today, almost every major industry is in commercial and defense together. By virtue of the commercial side, actually they have enough linkages with their foreign partners to be able to bring in technology even into the defense without going through too much of rigmarole. But what they do not know are the numbers. What they do not know are the exact operational requirements. So in the process, what is happening is, because there is no such document which is putting all this together into what I would call a defense industrial plan, actually people are just working on their own. This morning also, without meaning to share anything secret that L&T may have told the Vice Chief, because I was present there, you could clearly see that certain things the L&T is assuming by virtue of their knowledge and experience that probably this is what the armed forces would require 20 years hence. And on this, from their side, they are investing the money. Actually, it's a big risk. Tomorrow, when Mr. Patil has to sit on his board table himself, he has to answer. Because after all, it is the money of others which is being invested here. So unless and until, and this again, I did mention it to the Vice Chief also, unless and until, if we feel that we need something so many years hence, we have to start spelling out at least the operational requirements. Nobody is expecting the PSQR so early, certainly not the GSQR, but the OR needs to be spelled out, and it has to be put out in open domain so that anybody who feels has the ability can pick it up. And when I say anybody who has the ability can pick it up, obviously L&T picks it up as a system. But there are MSMEs who are sitting here. They come to know, okay, fine, in this one I can contribute. And they also know who are the integrators who are in this field, they can approach. We will generate that circulation within the system by just initiating this small little one. Today, everybody spoke about the compendium of problem statements. There are 88 of them included in that. But somehow we are not laboring part 1 of volume 1 of the compendium of problem statements, which gave some introduction. It's a bit of, it's too much of English actually. But all the same, there are some pointers in that to the future technological requirements of the Army. That is just a small beginning. But as I look at it, this is something which needs to be done. So as the Society of Indian Defence Manufacturers, Mr. Patil is aware, we've had discussions that this is something which the SIDM would take on behalf of the industry, for which can happen only if there is a lot of support from the services who are the ultimate users anyway. The next point which I wish to highlight, about a couple of weeks back, I was in Tokyo attending an international conference which was on a wide range of subjects. The speaker who spoke on artificial intelligence and robotics, and he was so eloquent, was from India. He was from Hyderabad. His brother is in the DRDO. And everything that he spoke had phenomenal applications in the armed forces. With his, expertise in AI, robotics, and Internet of Things, my sense is the entire way by which all the three services are managing their inventories can actually be transformed into much more efficient with much lesser manpower, with much lesser financial resources in the long run. And here this man is selling and selling and selling to North America. He has no time. And why? Because as users, we all know about all this. Whatever I have told you is not new. But we are not thinking about how to get it. As the industry, they are also not thinking about it because the user is not thinking about it. 10 years later, when around us people will get it, we will start importing again. So my submission is this gap between the emerging technologies and the operational battlefield, that needs to be bridged as soon as possible. If nothing else, if you are in the industry, if you have an expertise in such like emerging technologies, please start writing articles. If nobody else is publishing it, please give it to me. We will publish it from SIDM, so that the people come to know that, look, so-and-so has a technology, so-and-so has a thought process, so-and-so has an idea, so-and-so has a concept, which has got applications in the military. So obviously people in the military will also wake up and start reading it. Somewhere we have to bridge gaps. Somewhere we have to break these silos that have built over the years. So I think that has to be another area where as good Indians together, we need to come together. Finally, before I close, I wish to just mention that Jan Charan spoke about the Army Technology Seminar last year, 5th December, when Compendium of Problem Statements Volume 1 was released by Mr. Parekar, and then 24th March, the second one got released. I think on the 8th of January is when the Army is planning the first seminar of the next year. When I say first, it is the main seminar because, as you would notice, it is coinciding with the Army Day of 2018. I think that's a good event. That's a good event in which the Army should be outlining. I'm saying should because I'm out of that side now. They should be outlining their future needs as they perceive it. And that should be a good starting point to be followed by the Army with another document on their operational requirements, looking 20 years down the line, 15 years down the line. It takes 15, 20 years to develop a gun. So if they do it, I think we'll all get it right. And it doesn't matter whether you're MSME or even SME or even micro, it is worth coming to such events because suddenly you realize, like when we came to Amrita, we realized how much is there inside Amrita. So likewise, if you come to a seminar like that, you realize what all are the potential opportunities. So even if it means taking out some time and going to that cold place called Delhi, it may be worth it. And at the end, I want to make a small, appeal on behalf of Amrita. I haven't spoken to Professor Parmeshwaran, but I assume his permission. If you have all got convinced by what is happening in this institution, there are industry captains sitting here. Why don't one or many of you get together and make Amrita as a center of excellence for defense research and development? I see huge potential coming out from this place because the children here, when you talk to them, you realize how committed they are. The professors, how committed they are. So what I would urge, with your permission, Professor Parmeshwaran, I think this is a place where you can have a center of excellence for defense R&D. With that, thank you very much for your patient hearing, listening to me number of times. And I will end with what I always do. With your collaboration and support, we will win India's wars with Indian solutions. Thank you and Jai Hind.